Hello everyone, and welcome to the Triple H Show. Washington, D.C. right now is under a very strict lockdown due to the previous attacks on the Capitol, as well as Joe Biden's inauguration day on January 20th. There are only 5 days remaining until his inauguration, and the security within Washington, D.C. has been significantly tightened. Airbnb and some other hostel and hotel chains have temporarily shut down their locations in Washington, D.C. to prevent rioters from entering the city. All flights to Washington, D.C. have been restricted, and security is at almost every single part of the area. Regarding the impeachment, which passed in the House a few days ago, it turns out that the Senate will be holding the trial after Trump leaves office. And that's all thanks to Mitch McConnell. And then, due to their hypocrisy, those same people that are moving the impeachment until after January 20th are calling it unconstitutional to have it after January 20th. I'm not sure if this was all planned out by Republicans to save Trump, but it clearly looks like it. Trump has been quite quiet about the impeachment. He released a few videos and statements calling for peace. I mean, he pretty much lost almost all his ways to spread his rhetoric. His voice has been mostly cut off due to his suspension from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Speaking of corruption, ex-governor of Michigan, Rick Snyder, was charged for stupidity which led to the Flint water crisis. Snyder, a Republican who left office 2 years ago, is facing 2 counts of willful neglect, both misdemeanors which each carry a maximum sentence of 1 year in prison and a fine of up to $1,000. Honestly, that's way too little for the damage that he's done. Flint's population is around 100,000 people, and they've suffered so much because of his neglect and greed. He should pay at least $50,000 and 2 years in prison, at least. Because he was the one that caused this mess, and he was the one who neglected it. Biden yesterday unveiled an almost $2 trillion COVID relief package, which is great, but the issue with these packages is, where is the money coming from? Seriously. Well, at this point, it's all just coming out of thin air, which is causing inflation to jump and skyrocket. Some people aren't exactly noticing these changes, but they are happening. There was this quite notorious photo of a Florida supermarket which displayed a 50% jump in prices due to inflation. We need to find a proper way to get this money without destroying our economy even more. This is just beyond insensible and just crazy. People are getting their paychecks. They're getting that $2,000 stimulus or $600, preferably $2,000 obviously. But at the same time, in the long term, this will cause even more problems than it would have if they just didn't get them at all. It's a big concern. It's a big trade-off, and people need that money ASAP. But it's just such a paradox, because if you give it now, it will help people in the short term. But it will just cause so many more problems in the long term, unless if it's done properly and the money is actually achieved in some way, which may mean more taxes in the future to pay back for all that was lost. Because you can't just take the money out of thin air, or it will just destroy the economy in the long run. What's very interesting about these crises is that they don't only affect us, it affects the whole world, because America is such a key player in almost every single international thing. America's such a massive global superpower. Over 50% of the global trade happens in the US dollar. That just shows you how intense this is all going to affect the world. Inflation especially. Inflation of the US dollar will cause inflation almost everything else, because most of the global currencies are linked to the US dollar. America's struggles are having ripple effects throughout the world. America has over 800 military bases abroad. Over 800. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.